Welcome to What's the Scenario with PLRB, where we explore claims and coverage scenarios relevant to insurance professionals. I'm Brendan McLaughlin, Education Counsel at PLRB, and today I'll be joined by Mike Brode, VP of Meetings and Education at PLRB.
Yeah.
So, what's the scenario? The roof of a 100-year-old farmhouse suddenly collapses under the weight of water. The building was insured under a farm policy that, in this case, only provided coverage for personal property and not the dwelling or real property.
Ooh.
The insured claims that the carpet, water heater, and even ceiling tiles are all personal property and therefore covered.
Sure.
So today we'll talk about what exactly is a fixture.
Ooh, sounds exciting, Brennan. I can't wait.
But before we get into that, we're going to head into the deck page, our little segment here.
How exciting.
People, places, and things, and dates as well. And we're going to talk about the date from this week, May
Which is
4th.
also a thing, Brendan. Hang on a minute.
Hey, it's a thing.
It's the first time on the deck page we've ever talked about a thing. So I want to call that out because it's important to our listeners because they've been waiting. When are you going to talk about a thing? And today, listeners, is your day. Here we go. All right.
All right. And the thing we're talking about is the PACE program.
Yay.
Yeah. We've definitely mentioned it over the last few weeks, but this is the first time we're announcing it where you can actually go ahead and take it. It's up.
Wow.
It's available right now. PLRB.org. We've got the PACE program out there. We've already got some takers enjoying it already.
That's exciting. And what day was that launch, since we're talking dates?
May the 4th.
Aha,
so
May the 4th be with you. You take
we're
PACE program.
We're sharing the day with Star Wars there.
Right. That's just good.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to dig into it myself, learn a few things. It's about time I applied myself and started to learn things, Brendan. So thank you.
There you go. All right. Well, I hope people can check that out. And so now we'll head into our scenario.
Yay.
All right. So today we're talking fact or fixture, and we're talking about these fixtures. We're talking about farm policy. We're talking about these fixtures. When does this come up? Like, why is this an issue in insurance claims?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably when somebody's trying to find coverage, I would assume. But that's me. I don't know. What do I know?
There you go. Yeah. Well, our scenario is designed to try to make it really simple, right? We're talking about a really specific policy, a specific loss, and we're kind of stipulating right off the bat that there's no coverage at all for fixtures in this situation, definitely coverage for personal property.
All right.
Depending on your situation and with the specific situation of the policy, specific policy you're looking at, it can have different implications.
Right.
And we're looking, this is kind of a decision point as to whether something falls under coverage A or coverage B.
Ooh.
And that can have coverage implications, but it can also have limits implications, right? Because you could have different limits for A or B.
Or C, right? Because we're talking about personal property too, right here?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
C. Yes, okay, great.
Yeah. So, we got to talk about how do you decide if something is a fixture? What are we talking about here? And what we're really talking about is the dwelling coverage, right? It's coverage A applies to the dwelling. And so really talking about whether something is a fixture is another way of talking about is it part of the dwelling?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it affixed to the property in question, right?
There you go.
Thus, it is a fixture.
There you go.
My simple man approach, I think.
You fix something with a hammer and nail, you fix it to the wall, right? So there you go. So we're talking about something that's attached in a permanent manner, but it gets a little bit of a gray area when you start looking into it. But so what do we think? Can we think of any examples of things that are, let's start with definitely fixtures.
Well, hold on a minute before we even get there, Brennan. I've been reading because, it's my other hobbies. I like to read. And there's actually some like physicists out there who say this is all a simulation. Even us right here doing this podcast is all a simulation. Because if you look at the statistics, we're more apt to be in a simulation than we are in reality. So when your whole thing is it's permanently attached. No, some would argue it's all a simulation, nothing permanent anywhere, Brendan. It's all an illusion. So what do you think about that one, huh?
I don't think the shadows on the wall of Plato's cave are fixed on there.
Ooh, very good.
So that's going to have to be not a fixture.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the simulation in another episode.
Yeah. We'll have to come back to that. And yeah, we were just talking about we miss being here in person.
I know, I'm not in the little soundproof cube with you this week. I'm back home. Very boring here in Ohio. So.
It feels more like a simulation when we're not across from each other.
Here. Good point.
Yeah.
So is it a fixture? That's what we're talking about. So, what is a fixture? Maybe you want me to throw one out there and we'll see what we think?
All right. Yeah, that's
We'll say, especially a 100-year-old farmhouse, Brendan, I bet they had like some built-in shelving, like in the living rooms. Often they would have almost like these cool, unique bookcase kind of things that were kind of built into the wall that looked awesome, like in the old horror movies, and they'd take down a book and then they would all turn around and everything. There was a secret passageway. So I'm thinking one of those fixed, built-in, fixed shelving bookcase units would be a fixture there. Aha.
That's pretty solid. I mean, I think just even the name, it says built in right in it.
Right.
Something like that that's really heavy and it's attached to the wall, maybe bolted in.
Right.
Or even if it's not bolted in, if it's really large and it's almost kind of styled to kind of match the molding, and it's so heavy you would never think about moving it
into the wall. What are you going to do?
Sure.
Cut it out and take it with you? No.
Yeah.
It's a fixture. Prove me wrong, people out there listening. Yeah. It's a fixture.
And I think too of like ceiling fans and things like that, things that are literally fixed to.
That ceiling fan isn't fixed to your ceiling. When you turn the darn thing on, it's going to go airborne and fly up through your roof or something, or hit you in the head. So you don't want that. Yeah. So I'm with you there. So again, the listeners out there are welcome to put in their comments about how wrong we are. But I'm thinking that darn thing better be affixed or it's going to be a flying, and you don't want that. So here, I'm with you.
And then on the other side of it, I think we could talk about things that are definitely not fixtures. You think of fixtures, maybe you think of appliances, but something like a standalone air fryer or a mini fridge, those wouldn't be fixtures, I wouldn't think.
Like my favorite, the air fryer that we have. That is my new favorite invention for cooking. Love the air fryer because it's healthier than your fryer that you're talking about. So air fried stuff, healthy. And yeah, I'm taking that with me when I leave here. I'm not leaving my air fryer behind for anything. So you're right. That is not a fixture. Ain't fixed to nothing. Taking it with me. So that would be a content in my mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah? All right.
And I think as we talk this through, we're kind of talking through some of the considerations that courts look at when they think about fixtures. We were talking about, hey, what's the intent of the homeowner? Do they intend for it to be attached and affixed to the dwelling? And they're talking. And one thing you can ask is, hey, would they take it with them when they left? Yeah. How easy is it to remove? Those kind of questions come up.
Good point. So, I mean, this is very odd for us, Brendan. We're in like total agreement on everything here. So do you have any that are kind of like a gray area that you're talking about that might be worthy of some discussion between us two?
Well, that's where we get into the fun of this scenario. We talked about 3 different things. We had some case law, some questions about some interesting things that are a little bit more of a gray area.
All right.
So we talked about carpet, water heater, and ceiling tiles. Well, let's start with a carpet. What does your gut say about a carpet?
My gut says I'm hungry. Oh, wait, you don't care about that. Well, it matters now. Define carpet. So, like in my lovely family room here, we have attached wall-to-wall carpeting that's down with tack strips. And could I tear it up and take it with me? I guess. Probably not going to. But upstairs, Brendan, as you come into the entryway of our home, it's tile, and we have a carpet there to catch one's shoes on so that you do not dirty up the tile. That one's easily rolled up. I can take it outside, clean it. I might take it with me, so sir. I think it's not that easy. I think it matters what kind of carpet we're talking about.
Yeah. It's a question of how easy is it to remove?
Right.
How maybe customized is it to the area? I mean, one great resource is PLRB's homeowners annotations.
Here.
And the annotation on dwelling has a number of different examples about this, where, there are some cases where that might surprise you. Wall-to-wall carpeting can be found to be personal property if it's not really fastened down sufficiently. Right. Yeah. But other courts will, find that, hey, this wall-to-wall carpeting is definitely a fixture.
You weren't taking that with you. Oh, and plus, Brian, we could go back to our favorite episode ever where we had Ruth on. We were talking about the carpeted toilets. So, there I would say definitely if I had my tank and my seat all covered with lovely shag carpeting, I certainly would want to take that with me to my new home. So that would be, I think, personal property carpeting.
Yeah.
Agree? All right, we're still in agreement. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think with carpet, I think the instinct is to say, hey, this is definitely a fixture.
Probably right? A fixture, right? Except for a lot of throw rugs or whatever. Yes.
Yeah, but if it might be a question, especially if there's a solid floor under it.
Ooh.
That's just a matter of just picking up the carpet and it's right under there. It's kind of floating or it's not that well attached. Right. There could be a question.
I like it. So if it's glued, if it's down with strips, you might have a different case. But I'm with you. I like it. So
let's turn.
We're in agreement. Where we turn? Let's turn.
Let's turn to furnace and water heater. I think before the show we were talking it over and kind of thinking about what's definitely a fixture. And one thing that came up was, furnace and water heater seems
a fix to me.
Yeah. But we've seen some facts that, there's at least been some homeowners out there that have questioned it. Looking at a coverage question related to kind of case here that goes into a tenant who was claiming that, I'm definitely taking this water heater.
I paid for the darn thing. I'm taking it.
Yeah, I would disconnect both and take both the furnace and water heater and take it with me if I left. I put it in, I installed it. I'm going to take it with me. So, what can you do in that situation where it's all about intent?
Yeah.
And the homeowner is saying, well, I'm definitely going to take it. But you're looking at the object and saying this is not something people normally take.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a good point because you look at it. I mean, is it affixed to the property? Because I'm thinking of my furnace. My furnace is on kind of like little bricks down there on the basement floor to keep it off the floor a little bit in case we get some crazy rainwater. And it's not really bolted down or anything. It's attached to all the ductwork that goes to the various places where the air flows to. But, you could unattach that, pull that thing out of there if you had a good hand truck or come along and a couple guys, gals, whatever, getting together. You could get that thing out of there. So I guess you could say that. But, it certainly feels like a fixture, though, to me, Brennan. I don't know.
Yeah, you could certainly try. I mean, I think our PLRB coverage attorney's opinion on this was, let's get some more documentation on this. Let's get the tenant insured under oath saying that they were going to take this. And let's also, you talk about fixtures. We're not really getting into this today, but if it's a tenant situation, you talk about fixtures, there might be something that prevents a tenant insured from taking a water heater and furnace with them when they leave.
Yeah, maybe for a future episode, Brennan, we could talk about tenants, fixtures, and improvements. Yeah, something like that. I mean, that would be, or betterments. I don't remember what the phrase is. I think betterment, improvements, but whatever. But there's things tenants put into a building that their intent wasn't to take it back, or who covers it, who gets money for it. Oh, I can't wait to have that one. That would be fascinating.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we'll maybe I'll link to our webinar. We have a great webinar on that, recorded webinar on tenants, betterments, and improvements. So check it out right now.
That.
Yeah,
I don't even remember, Brennan.
Hey, there you go.
Good jog of my memory. So there we went carpet. All right, I'm with
carpet.
you on this hot water heater, again attached to some pipes that put the water down, and then the exhaust fan going out and all that good stuff. But yeah, darn good question again. You could remove that stuff, and you could take that thing out of there. Be heavy. Make sure you drain the water and lift with your legs, not with your back. But it could be done. So
sure. Can you convince?
There, same similar kind of discussion at PLRB, or was there a discussion about a hot water heater? Or have I gone off on a tangent that you didn't want to talk about, which I often do?
Oh no, water heater and furnace were together on that.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah, it was the same kind of thing. Where can you convince a judge that you're going to really take it? That's I think there's a little bit of common sense in there as well. But the fact is that because we're talking about intent, we're talking about facts. There's going to be gray areas.
Right.
So another one.
Question of fact, Brennan, you're an attorney. I'm not, but question of fact, who decides? Judge or jury, right? Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, that's where it's easy when it's a question of law. That easy, quote unquote. But yeah, let's turn to the last one, which is ceiling tiles.
Oh, are you sure it's the last one? This is a wonderful discussion. I think we could go on forever and ever. So
we could. There's definitely more examples we could get into, but today we'll just wrap up with these ceiling tiles. We're talking about a 100-year-old farmhouse, and I want you to picture those old like tin ceiling tiles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like the really nice ones.
Yes.
They've been there for 100 years. They're beautiful and fancy. And the homeowner's saying, hey, I've got this collapse. I've got damage to them. They're not part of the dwelling. Right. They're so beautiful. I would take them with me if I left.
When
even though
they fell onto the floor now, they're no longer attached. So I'm taking them with me. Yes, I agree.
Sure, right? So what do you think about those? Yeah.
I would think the copper ones that are attached, you're not generally taking those with you. But, Brennan, I will throw a curveball at you.
Ooh.
I did have, not in the 100-year-old farmhouse, but the crappy college places I used to live with my roommates who are my buddies. We'd have those little ceiling tiles that you kind of lift up and you could take out. And my buddy had done some artwork on one. He was quite the artist. I mean, I'm serious. This kid was talented. So he did take that with him. So I'm going to say, buddy, that might be a piece of content. Or I'd say, hey, let's say that he went on a drawing spree and did about 10 of them, decided I'm going to take them off and I'm going to kind of like display them on the wall and whatnot. Now it's like artwork on a picture. Sir, would be a content. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I think that's a pretty solid case for it. I mean, first of all, those are really easy to remove, right? They're really easy to pop out. And you've kind of taken it out and used it for a different purpose. Now, is that a betterment? It kind of depends on how good the art is.
Yeah, exactly. He was good, but not that good. So, yeah.
But yeah, I think in this case, and this is based on a case called Pierce, out of Kansas, and it's not binding precedent, just persuasive authority.
All right.
Trial court in the federal court system, and they looked at court, considered policyholders' argument that. Hey, you can remove them without affecting the structural integrity of the building. They're really beautiful. I would take them with me when I left. Those are kind of the arguments in the one direction, but the court ultimately was not swayed by that. I mean, they'd been there for 100 years, right? They increased the value of the property. They were probably intended to stay with the home. So, under Kansas law, they were considered to be a fixture and therefore not covered.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So definitely an interesting case, and I'll link to it. But just goes to show kind of how courts think
Right.
about this. It goes to intent, but of course, if you're at the point where you're at a lawsuit, the homeowner is going to be saying their intent is one thing, and
Right.
so the court's going to kind of might disagree with that and say, no,
Exactly.
actually, when this was put in, the intent was, you're looking at what is the object, what's going on with the object, and figuring out the intent based on the facts.
And you never
So,
know. I mean, sometimes courts, it's funny because when I used to read, oh, yeah, you'd think, oh, clearly the court's going to side this way. And they'd say, nope, see, you could get another court that says, yeah, I agree with that argument that it's beautiful. It's almost like my college buddy roommate's artwork is lovely and people are going to take it with them, so I can make that. And you could see a court coming down on that side too. That's what's fascinating, Brennan, about insurance and why I love it so much.
there you go. Well, we're going to have to get some of that artwork commissioned for our next episode.
Ooh, that would be
See
exciting.
if we can get our little scenarios, our little orange scenarios in whatever ceiling tiles are made out of.
Right. Probably asbestos in the case of my buddy.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's head into our 3 key takeaways.
Yes.
All right, so what can we take away from this scenario?
What can we?
Well, first, I would say that looking at whether something is part of the dwelling, you're considering whether or not it's a fixture, and that can have impacts on coverage and limits. You're looking, when courts go to decide this, they're looking at things like actual physical annexation, and that might go to how well is it attached, how heavy is it, how difficult it is to remove.
Uh-huh.
And the third takeaway, another thing courts are looking at, is the intent of the parties.
Here,
And that might be what the homeowner's saying, or it might be something that can be inferred.
I like it.
Yeah, so where can an adjuster go to learn more? I'll share the links we talked about today in the show notes, and there you'll find a recap of the key points from this episode and links to our social media. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us, and please give
5
us a
stars,
call.
please. Yeah.
Yes, please. And share your adjuster story. So we'll see you next time.
Brennan, before we sign off, you said, well, they can go and look at this annotation. They need to go to plrb.org. Don't forget the most important part ever. Yes,
There
please, plrb.org.
Yeah, plrb.org. And there you can also check out the PACE program, as we talked about before. Yes.
I love you too. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
I can't wait, Brennan. For now, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The views and opinions expressed in this resource are those of the individual speaker and not necessarily those of the Property and Liability Resource Bureau, its membership, or any organization with which the presenter is employed or affiliated. The information, ideas, and opinions are presented as information only and not as legal advice or offers of representation. Individual policy language and state laws vary, and listeners should rely on guidance from their companies and counsel as appropriate.